say goodbye to ongoing decor trends, and embrace a look of timeless elegance with the design style of the old money aesthetic. Have you ever wondered why or how some interiors exude elegance effortlessly, even when they're surrounded or full of worn antiques and vintage items and some new? Well, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. It's somewhat of the style that I like to do here at our home, but it's something that many do unconsciously. It's their value of how they like to live. Hello, kindred spirits. And for those who don't know me, this is Linda Smith Davis, and you are on the channel New England Fine Living, where I hope to share and inspire others to find their own version of fine living. And today we're going to talk about the old money aesthetic. And today we're going to talk about the old money aesthetic. Please keep in mind, this is just a partial list. I could have went into fabrics, I could have went into different finishes, different items, but this is a start to help your thoughts. But before we go on, I want to mention the winner of the Luxury Fine Living Box drawing. And if you can get back to me, my email is below, and I'm going to assume your name is Lisa. I cannot wait to find out where you're from. Please try to contact me within the week, and we will go from there. Now, the old money aesthetic can do with clothing, interiors, lifestyle. Today we're going to be talking more about interiors and how they do differ from new money interiors and new money trends. Different from interiors that are always evolving, trying to keep up with current trends, homeowners who value saving money and not following trends may be enjoying and living the old money aesthetic. And I've been doing a lot of research on this just so I could share a little more information with you about this design style. I went through so many of the books in our home library and also here on the internet. And I did find a description on Hockerty.com. They are a clothing brand for gentlemen. And what they say is the old money aesthetic is this. They say it's a lifestyle that exudes a sense of permanence and enduring sophistication, emphasizing the notion that true luxury is not an extravagance, but in the preservation of timeless traditions and values. It's embracing the old money aesthetic, means adopting a manner of living that mirrors a bygone era's gentility and poise. And here is my take on this whole lifestyle, and it's not a trend, it is a way of life. Those who live with this aesthetic are always thinking about quality over quantity. Now, trust me, they will spend money on quality items because they know they're going to last. They know that hopefully they could pass them down to their future generations. And the individuals that embody this lifestyle, a major goal is passing down wealth, but that's not what we're going to speak about today. Today, we're going to talk about how we can create that home interior that looks like somebody had passed down their family items, things they've collected from their world travels, and things they picked up along the way during their lives. I'm going to show you how you can create a home that embodies the old world aesthetic. And while we're going through this, please remember this is about embracing a timeless sense of style, a heritage, and a refinement. And you don't have to do this all at once, and you can do this in stages if you choose. You don't have to spend a year's earning to get an expensive look. Building your old money aesthetic will take some time as you collect pieces or make thoughtful swaps, meaning you have some things in your home maybe that aren't quality anymore, have been ruined, maybe not your style. And you can start looking for classic items at thrift stores, vintage shop, or even save up to invest on that one nice quality piece that you've been longing for over the past years. Your home will continue to look elegant and timeless as newer trends come and go. So let's start with the large items, antique furniture or vintage furniture. You want to look for items that are made of high quality materials like solid wood Or if they're veneer, it's the very wonderful decorative veneer that you'll see on many antiques. Craftsmanship is key. You don't want items that are glued together and pinned together with nails. Those won't last. You want items that are made with quality materials and craftsmanship. And when you're thinking about making an investment in furniture, think about what have been in homes for hundreds of years. You're going to be looking at things like writing desks, big round tables that are either used in foyers or between two chairs. You're going to be looking at dining room tables and consoles, things that have stood the test of time. Fine china and silverware. Now, sets of delicate china, dinnerware, and sterling silver flatware has often been passed down through generations. We can create that look as if we got items from our ancestors that was passed down to us. Now, I should also say, when I was younger, I wanted nothing to do with our family china or items that my family had. I only appreciated it when I was older, so if you are thinking of future generations, maybe tuck it away until they're a little older, and I'm sure they will appreciate it. Oil paintings and portraits. Now, classic artwork depicting landscapes, animals, life scenes, ancestors, they're huge, and a lot of them have gold frames. Now, many of you know I have adopted ancestors on our wall. I have fun finding them out and about. But the other day, I had the pleasure of working in one of my husband's friends' homes, and it's in the town next door. Their home has been in the family since the 1700s, and their house is full of oil paintings of their ancestors. To me, that's amazing, and sometimes you would think you'd only find that maybe in the Newport mansions or in England. Nay, nay. Right here in our little town area, a home has a lot of the family portraits, and you will see that in a lot of our towns of New England. And I had the pleasure of also meeting another couple. These gentlemen were amazing. They showed me their antique store and the first floor of their home, and they showed me their adopted ancestors, but yet they call them instant ancestors. I will share my quick tour of their antique store at the end of this video. And let me preface that if I reference New England, that's because it's what I know. But I am also aware that many of the states, many of the towns here in the U.S. have ancestral homes, especially down south, and I don't want to discount that. I'm just sharing what I know here about New England. Crystal chandeliers. Elegant and elaborate lighting fixtures add drama and elegance to a room, and it's often found in grand foyers and dining rooms. But that doesn't mean that we can't add smaller crystal chandeliers into dressing rooms. I've seen them in children's rooms, small foyers. You can add them anywhere you'd like. A library or sitting room with leather-bound books. A collection of classic literature housed in a floor-to-ceiling bookshelf accented with leather-bound volumes and antique bookends scream old money aesthetic. But you don't have to have a library. You don't have to have a room set aside. You could dedicate a whole bookshelf or just one shelf to a collection of old books, whether they're leather-bound or old linen covers, old fabric covers, or if you had new books, you could just take off the dust jacket so that you're not seeing all those bright colors. Usually underneath, you're going to find brown or blue or green, which would give that old money aesthetic. Grandfather clocks, grandmother clocks, tall case clocks. A freestanding clock with a pendulum and chimes serves not only as a decorative piece, but also functional when they work. We all know that our clock doesn't always work. One thing to keep in mind, a lot of times it needs to be balanced for the clock to work properly. I love having a tall case clock in our home, and the fact that it was only $25, I like it even more. Vintage silver tea set. And I'm going to edit in china and pottery too. A teapot, a coffee pot, sugar bowl, creamer, and a tray made from sterling silver is used for serving afternoon tea or coffee. I personally like to use mine throughout the day or evening. If a sterling silver set is not in your future, has not been handed down, you can't find one out and about, you could find a sterling silver overlay or even a beautiful stainless pot. Let's also say, use your antiques, use your vintage items, because if you don't, somebody else will. Why not enjoy them? Antique decorative objects. Items like porcelain figures, ornate candelabras, and decorative vases displayed throughout the home add charm and character. It also adds layers to your home. It shows personality. Those small pieces, whether they're in abundance or just placed here and there in few areas of your home, will share your personality and will also give that look of the old money aesthetic. For our home, I've been collecting things like porcelain dogs, pheasants, small creatures, things we like to be surrounded with, and things that I like to look at. Crystal and cut crystal. Now, these are items that you can pick up almost everywhere and anywhere, from drinking glasses to decorative objects to perfume bottles and crystal decanters. And if you were hoping to find something that's lead-free, a lot of new items that look old do come lead-free now. I had a perfume jar that I got from my grandmother, but prior to that, it's one that I dug up at my childhood home, and this one is cut crystal, and it's something I've been carrying around since I was a child. But I didn't appreciate crystal until my later years, and I started collecting perfume bottles. I have salt and pepper shakers. They're not all cut crystal, some are pressed, and I have an abundance of drinking goblets that are also crystal. Now, you've collected these items or you have these items, but what about the interiors where they're going to be placed? The look of a room also exudes that old money aesthetic. We're talking traditional architectural features such as crown molding, wainscoting, coffered ceiling. It enhances that sense of timeless elegance in a home, and our New England homes and colonials are perfect examples, and I'm going to go over some of that in a moment as well. But when we're talking about interiors, we're also going to be talking about color. I like to use neutral colors, and when I say neutral, I'm not talking about just beige and creams and whites, but we're talking about traditional neutral colors such as navy, charcoal, camel, of course the ivory, and then we're going to add those historic colors of some of the reds, the greens, the blues. These colors can easily be mixed together to create a nice cohesive look in a room. They're timeless, and if they've been around since the beginning, you know they're not going to go out of style. And speaking of colors, I almost forgot one more thing: rugs. When you have rugs in your room, think of those timeless items that you see, the Persian rugs, the Oriental rugs, rugs that have blues, the navies, the reds, the creams. These are all going to work with those furnishings and those room colors that we just spoke of. Now, where can you get some of this inspiration? And I'm going to say New England inspiration because, once again, that's where I live and that's what I know. You can get online if you don't live close by. You can purchase some books or go to the library and flip through some books and get inspired that way. And here's what you're going to want to look for. Look for historic mansions. New England is home to a numerous amount of historic mansions that were once owned by wealthy families. Let's think of the Breakers in Newport and Rhode Island, the Vanderbilt Mansion, and the Mount in Lenox, Mass. It was once owned by Edith Wharton. These mansions are often featured with grand architecture, opulent interiors, and expansive grounds. We also have an abundance of colonial homes, and the architectural style of a colonial home, the traditional center entrance colonial home, typically features symmetrical facades, evenly spaced window, a door front and center right in the front of the house, and that is a classic design style. The same principle is used with interior design for this particular look: balance and proportion. Think about these fashion designers. They lived here. They gleaned information and inspiration from these areas. We're talking Ralph Lauren, Brooks Brothers. We're talking Tommy Hilfiger, vineyard vines, and I know she wasn't a designer, but Katharine Hepburn with her style and her elegance, very classic. She was from Connecticut. These examples that I just shared collectively contribute to the old money aesthetic that permeates throughout New England, showcasing its rich heritage and enduring traditions. And as I mentioned earlier, there is a lot more I could have added to the list, but hopefully this gave you a little stepping stone. If you like this style, it gives you a little idea of things to look for and things you could add to your own surroundings. In closing, I'm going to show you this sweet little antique store. It's actually attached to the owner's homes, and this is what I would say is the epitome of old money aesthetic items that have been collected for those who would like to come and take a look at them and possibly add them to their home. Thank you for joining me yet another week, and I have a little surprise for you. We're going to start adding some real estate and home tours, possibly midweek. They'll be shorter, but I wanted you to have fun to see some more interiors and homes that are for sale. Let's try this again. Old world aesthetic. Figures.